See, the creation comes first in three creations called the first three fires.
Das heißt,
And then it comes into seven rays. You see, it is called the seven fires, and we have the seven rays of the sun forming the spectrum, which is the base of all vibrations to form matter on this earth. So the three fires and the seven rays put together express in our creation as the seven rays in three planes. We have 21 groupings. So your constitution has the physical, the vital and the mental. So there are seven layers on the physical called the seven tissues. The seven potencies, energies in the vital, each forming an energy center, and the seven layers of your consciousness on the mental. So according to this structure, the substantives in the scriptures exist. And then about the verbs. Each verb exists in three persons. That is first person, second person and third person. And each person exists in three numbers. That is singular, dual and plural.
heißt,
So we have a form in first person singular, dual and plural.
also
Second person singular, dual, plural. Third person singular, dual, plural. First person singular, dual, plural. First person singular, dual, plural. Then second person singular, dual, plural. Third person singular, dual and plural. So we have 9 forms in each tense. So we have 3 tenses in verbs. That is the past tense, present tense and future tense. So in each tense we have 9 forms, and we have the moods also apart from the tenses. That is the imperative mood, the indicative mood. In verbs we have moods, that is the imperative mood, the indicative mood. For example, will, shall, etc. You will do, you shall do, you may do,
Sie werden
like
tun.
that. In England, in English grammar they are called moods. Yes. Suppose we say, I shall go. No, you say, if we say, you should go, go is verb. Please listen to me. If we say, you shall go, you should go, you see under mod, M-O-D. If we say you should go is the verb. The word should decides the mood of the verb. If I say, you bring that chair, bring is the verb, then it is called imperative mood. That is ordering. I say, you may bring that chair. That means indicative mood. Like that, we have moods in verbs. So there are tenses and there are modes. That is times, past,
Yes.
past, future and present. The tenses and moods put together, they are 10. So the 9 forms are multiplied by 10 forms. We have 3 into 3 into 10. 90 forms of verbs. You see. And the original word for verb is called root. Every root has 90 forms
ये
of
देखो
verbs. For example, we take go, that is a root. Going, gone, they are the verbs. So there is one root. When it is made fit to be used, it is called a verb. A verb is ready to be used in a sentence. A root is not fit to be yet used. So for every root we have 90 verbs. Similarly, in the substantives also, there is the original word for each substantive. It is called the stem. Like tree. These two are root and the stem. See, this is the root and this is the stem.
this is Wurzeln.
So for verbs, the original word are called roots. For substantives, they are called stems. So each stem has 21 forms. Each root has 90 forms. This is symbolic. If you take the lunar month, the moon starts from the sun and makes the full moon and then again meets the sun. So from the new moon he starts, completes half of the month, then it is full moon. Again he completes the other half of the month. So it is having the 4 quarters once again, just like the 4 stages of the word. Just as the creation is made in 4 steps, the lunar month is also made in 4 steps. You have the half moon and then the full moon and then again the half moon and then no moon. Understand? 7 days for each. So from the day of new moon, you will find the 7th day half moon and then the 7th day the full moon and then the 7th day again half moon and then the 7th day no moon. And each 7 days you have 90 degrees. So the relationship between substantives and verbs is 7 cases and 90 verbs. This is the esoteric aspect of the grammar. Is it clear? Then the next key. It is called the training of utterance or intonation. It is called Siksha. We gave the name previously. Do you find it? So this is the 4th one we have to deal. Siksha. It is called the training of the utterance. Every sound is to be uttered as a short sound, a long sound and a much longer sound. We have seen previously also. Here it is applied. If you say ah, that is a time taken for that sound is called the first sound.
Short.
The sound taken for 2 is called the second sound. It is called the longer sound. The third is called song. That is 3 or more. That is the time taken for 3 sounds like this or any number of sounds like that. So it is called a song. So the short sound, the long sound and the song. Just like in grammar, we have the singular number, the dual number
Die Dual
and the plural. And we are expected to practice Om in the 3 forms. So close your eyes and begin to utter Om. You will find that you cannot utter in the first letter. You can utter only in the longer way. So when this is divided into its 3 sounds, each of them can be uttered short. It has a symbolic significance. Only when the word is split into three, you will have the time divisions in creation. That is, God as word is beyond time. If only he comes down into creation, splitting himself into three, that is God as Father, God as nature and God as child, then only he will come as the divisions of time. So it is said, you are expected to utter other sounds only in short. You can utter the other sounds in short, but not the original sound. So you are expected to utter it either in the second or in the third model. So you are made to practice by the teacher how to utter it. First you are asked to sit down, close your eyes, put every muscle and nerve in the body in comfort, make it relaxed, and then observe your respiration. You will find how the word is uttering itself in 2 syllables. We have seen it. Soham. Then after making an observation, try to use your mind to make the respiration uniform. That is, begin to breathe in slowly and with uniform speed and in a prolonged way, as long as you can breathe. And then in the same way begin to breathe out. Like this you have to meditate upon your breath. While breathing in, continuously you have to meditate upon the sound so. And while you are breathing out, you have to continuously meditate upon hum. So you should spend some time in this meditation. Then only you will be able to utter Om correctly. So every day after practicing for a few minutes Soham, you are asked to utter Om while you are exhaling. That is, as long as you are breathing out, you have to breathe out with the sound Om continuously until the breath is fully out. This is called one full breath. Now you are expected to meditate that the Creator breathes out and his breath is one kalpa. You have seen the period of kalpa. And as long as you are breathing in, it should be considered as the absorption of creation into the Creator. This is the method in which you have to practice the utterance of Om. And then you should understand that the Om is divided in your respiration and it is conducting your respiration. That is, it is giving you the energy and the potency to breathe. So it is the word is divided into 2 and fixed up in the 2 respirations. You are expected to understand it and meditate upon it. The method of understanding is like that. Separate the O, the vowel from the consonant, and separate the H from and then bring the O separately and the nasal separately. So both of them put together, there is Om in your respiration. This you are expected to meditate after uttering Om for some time. So for about 5 minutes you can utter Soham. Then for 5 minutes you can utter Om, and then next 5 minutes you can meditate upon how Om is making you respire. So you will understand how the potency of the mantra Om is making you live, because it is the biological potency which is giving you the respiration. So it is the very center of your life. This is the next you have to practice, you have to do. No, as long as your constitution permits. Naturally, leave it to nature. Only you have to make it uniform speed. That's all.
Ausgeglichen.
There should be no jerks in breathing. Neither, no kumbhaka business.
Kein
This
Kumbhaka.
has nothing to do with the pranayama of the many schools. This is the pranayama of Patanjali and Bhagavad Gita,
Gita.
which is directly taken from the scriptures. There are other types of pranayama for which the scriptures are not responsible. Because to understand that Om is divided and distributed in the two respirations. To understand, yes, it makes you understand that Om is made into two and distributed in your respiration. Okay. Now, yes, that is only for the first time, therefore 3 times I told you. You have to do it many times. For 5 minutes you have to do it now. If it is only for the sake of meditation, for health and for the ease of living, it is enough if you do 3 times. But if you want to go into the scripture, you have to increase the time. Now you take 5 minutes for each practice, 15 minutes in all. You can open your eyes if you feel like opening. But if you are really observing your respiration, then you will never remember to open your eyes. But if you remember, you have to open your eyes once. Otherwise there will be some mind resistance which will disturb you. No, we will not go anywhere, we will be here. It is only to realize that we will not go anywhere, we will stay here even after the body is dropped. It is only to realize it, this practice. Generally we believe that we go away with the body. But to realize that we are not going away, we are there in the air and space as the potency of respiration. After this body is dropped, that is our eternal presence. It is only to realize that we practice this. So we are not going anywhere. And then the next thing to know about this is, understand you have 3 parts in you: the matter in you, the force in you, and the consciousness in you. Now, consciousness is the indweller, yourself, and the energies in you are the life, and the matter in you is the body. So, you should visualize the position of matter and force in you. That is, life and body. Life is force, energy. Body is matter. So you should find the formula in this. See, the consonants are bodies. Vowels are life.
Das Leben.
So this is the body part. This is the life part. So they are linked up. So they are linked up as the 4 syllables of your word are 4 steps of the creation. So you have to understand it. And the meeting principle, it is called the nasal sound. It is like the cement in a building. It is linking up all these things. And then you have to find out mantrams from this. Mantram is nothing but understanding yourself as the potency of sounds. That is, uttering a sound is the same energy which makes you utter the respiration. So you have to identify the utterance of sounds with the energies of your life. Through each sound, you will be able to identify in a different manner. And finally, all the sounds will be identified as all the modes of your life energy. Because of the various modes of your life energy, so many sounds are being uttered. So many syllables are being framed. So, through the energy of life, with the help of the mind, both united together are framing the various sounds and various syllables. And